Time walking is available this week, and you might want to do it if you haven't already, because some good gear is to be had from this. Some crazy hotfixes coming in for Mythic Plus, lower level keys, as well as some interesting stuff to get into that you can do before midnight actually goes live. So let's jump straight in here. Deathwing, weapon, and so many other rewards available for this time walking, as well as some heroic level raid gear. That's right. You might be asking yourself, well, what do you mean, Sam? I picked up the Shattered Path quest, and that thing only gives you normal level raid gear. That's true. That cache will only give you normal level raid gear. But if you look a little bit further than that, and you go to that little, portal area for Cataclysm, whether in Orgrimmar or Stormwind, there is an NPC named Vormu, the one that you use to queue up for the raid, and that guy will give you a quest that will get the Disturbance Detected Firelands, that will give you a cache of Time Warp treasures, which will give you a heroic piece of Mana Forged Omega Raid loot gear. That's right. So, and it's not going to be tier gear, but it is going to be heroic level. So doing that this week's a good idea. We'll do that on stream at some point and make sure we all get that nice piece of loot. Besides that, some really good stuff to be had from Time Walking this week, including the World Breaker freaking two-handed mace. This thing's absolutely glorious. I need to go get it. 3,000 Time Warp badges, easy money spent. That's the best money I'll ever spend. I'm going to go get this thing, the Time Lost World Breaker. This thing was only seen in the game for a short period of time back in 2009. Yeah, it was showed up in art concepts and stuff, so this is a really good-looking mace, especially for a Blood DK. I need to go pick this up at some point today to build up a nice new transmog, for sure. Size of a one-hander, it's tiny? No, I mean, is it? I mean, it looks massive when it looks at the drawing. Hopefully it's this big. I haven't actually seen it in game, so I don't know what it looks like in a player's hands yet. I hope it's not tiny. Everybody knows we got to have big weapons to compensate for small things. Moving on, LFR Dimensius has been retroactively fixed. Evidently, he was destroying groups as well as the story mode version of Dimensius, but there's also hotfixes coming in for a heroic and a normal raid. So let's check these out real quick. Here's some nerfs coming in. For the Nexus Salad Bar, we see fewer players now being targeted in smaller group sizes. The behead damage has also been reduced. This is all for everything, not Mythic level difficulty. For Mana Forged Titan, Nexus Princess, and the Shadowguard Reaper, their health has been reduced for smaller group sizes. These adjustments have been made to reduce difficulty for smaller group sizes. I actually felt like we have been doing better with bigger groups in this raid, and maybe this is why. Maybe just things weren't adjusting properly. For Dimensius, Living Mass health reduced for smaller groups in normal and heroic difficulty. Void Warden health reduced for smaller groups in normal sizes and heroic difficulty. Nullbinder health reduced for smaller groups in heroic difficulty. And then Nullbinder health reduced by an additional 10% for all group sizes. So that's just a nerf across the board there. Massive Smash now only knocks back players vertically. Was horizontal as well. So for Raid Finder and Story Mode, they can't handle that stuff. You're knocking around Raid Finder people, they're going to lose their minds. When players engage Dimensius in Raid Finder difficulty, all the other players will be immediately ported over to the platform now, because I guess some people couldn't figure out how to use the extra action button. Yeah, Raid Finder issues. When players engage Dimensius, they'll be ported over. Followers should now help more reliably in story mode because they didn't know what to do, I guess. Broken World no longer dismounts players in story mode difficulty. That is freaking hilarious. That just fly around the rocks and stuff, but I guess people couldn't do it. And then Dimensius no longer casts Supernova in story mode difficulty. So yeah, story mode, you're just gonna it's just a pinata. You're just gonna hit Dimensius until he dies. Nice changes though for the adjustments in terms of group sizes. This is also a big change here that I didn't see coming. So recently, just yesterday, we were discussing the survey that Blizzard put out there for maybe fixes coming for the looking for group feature for Mythic Plus and stuff like that. Well, Blizzard just implemented a crazy fix here coming in on September 2nd. If you're doing keys for +2 or +3, your deaths will no longer reduce the timer for your objective. That's right. So no longer will your key be reduced in time for deaths in +2 and +3 keystones. I think this is a great add. I do. I think this is a great thing for players who are playing at this key level. I've always said I felt like death timers were way too punishing at this point. The death penalty always felt like it was extremely punishing. It had bred frustration, toxicity. Made players leave groups early because there was a death early on and they thought, oh, that's it, we're done. This is good. Maybe it's a good start to maybe reducing that death timer across the board. But for now, +2 and +3 keys will no longer be dealing with death timer reduction. So that's a good one. I think that's a great change from Blizzard. Okay, let's look at some charts here. We got tank DPS, tanking in terms of ranks of what they're currently doing, and then healers as well. So I'll preface these charts by saying these are not DPS rankings for this percentile here. These are actually the number of tanks and their specs completing key runs, and they get more points the higher the key run that they complete. So that's how this is broken down. And Protection Paladin has gone from the bottom of this chart to the very top. That's right, Blizzard's favorite chosen children are now at the top once again. Paladin, most played class in the game, say it all the time, and yes, they are being taken care of here. What actually happened was their 4-set bonus seemed to be very important for the way they tank. It did trigger some much better taking on their side, so they were able to completely flip the chart and jump up to the top. So right now, Protection Paladin completing the most keys on time at the highest rate, at the highest key level. Then we see Protection Warrior just behind them. Vengeance Demon Hunter was the one that dropped a bit. Brewmaster Monk, Guardian Druid, and the class that only real men can play, Blood DKs, because everybody knows Blood DK is the hardest way to tank in the game. So, I mean, only the most Giga Chad of Giga Chads can play this class spec, and you're looking at one right now. So, yeah, maybe at the bottom here, but hey, you know, it's all right. Invite me, and I promise you we'll complete that key, because that's what I do. Healers, all percentiles. Same thing goes here. This is not DPS rankings. This is healers ranked by the keys that they complete. So there we go. Restoration Shaman completing the most keys at the highest rate on the highest key levels, followed by Restoration Druid, Discipline Priest, Preservation Invoker, Holy Paladin, Mistweaver Monk, and Holy Priest down here at the bottom. Interestingly enough, Discipline Priest was the meta spec last time around, and it looks like this time around it has been Resto Shaman when we looked at some of the charts just yesterday. So Resto Shaman doing really good stuff here. Resto Druid also making a nice move up, as we saw from compared to last week's stuff. Mana Forged Omega Ray looking at tank DPS percentiles, okay? So the way this does is it kind of removes the outliers for the fights that DPS kind of jumps up, whether it be because a certain thing is just better for a certain class of DPS down than others. So this is kind of your median looking DPS. We see right now the choice for the Race to World First, Protection Warrior. That was the one that all of them were using. Yep, it's the top DPSer right now in terms of tanking when it comes to rating. We also see Brewmaster Monk just behind him. That was another one that they seem to pair with a lot with Protection Warrior. Vengeance Demon Hunter behind him. Blood Death Knight typically doing better in Raid than they do in Mythic Plus, as expected. Guardian Druid, and then Prop Paladin, the best Mythic Plus tank, the worst Raid tank, interestingly enough, when it comes to DPS at least. So that's a nice one to see. I play Blood DK versus Underpin hard mode. It was awesome. Yeah, as did I. It was fun. Healer, heals per second. Same thing here. Outliers removed. Preservation Invoker right now being the choice for healing per second. Mistweaver Monk, Holy Priest behind them. Restoration Druid, Restoration Shaman, Holy Paladin, Discipline Priest. So there you go. Your heals per second. Again, take it all, you know, as it is. It's fun to look at these, but it doesn't mean you have to play any of these classes. As I said, I'm at the bottom here, still doing what I do best, and that's playing Blood DK. Besides that, maybe some things that you can do before midnight launches. Somebody went around collecting every collectible legendary that is available still in the game. And that is because in player housing, you might be able to actually hang your weapons on your wall. That's a feature that has been touted right now for player housing for quite a while, being able to hang pieces of armor, and I would assume legendaries will certainly be something you'll be hanging up. So if you're wondering, how many legendaries can you actually get in the game right now? Well, it looks like 3, 6, 9, 10, 11. 11 legendaries available right now to be collected in the game. So that's pretty cool. Man, I can't believe he went and did the Fearlath one. That quest line was such a grind. Oh my god. So going around, getting all the legendaries. Yes, he collected every single one. Posted this great chart of all the legendaries he was able to collect. Pretty badass. And maybe a fun way, again, I said how to pass the time right now as we wait for the Midnight expansion. Collecting all the legend. Yeah, mad grind indeed. Collecting every legendary to be able to hang on your wall in your player house. Say when you invite your friends over from Moonguard, they can have a good time and have some really good decorations hanging on the wall as well. Besides that, players are returning to Silvermoon. That's right. We know the Silvermoon revamp is in fact coming. And it's not just a revamp of the city itself, or I should say more like a rebuild of the city itself. It's a rebuild of all the areas around it, right? So some people feeling nostalgic, returning to Silvermoon right now in-game, not only to spend time in the city, which is revealed here. People are actually spending time in Silvermoon, which if you've ever been to Silvermoon in the live game, as it is right now or previously, it's a ghost town. Well, people going back right now, maybe taking screenshots, enjoying the walks, recording some video because it's all about to change. People are also playing some of the starting zone quests for the Blood Elves, right? All of those zones are about to be revamped. Nobody knows if those quests are going to kind of change up. I'm assuming they will. The storyline might change to match up current lore and everything else. So yeah, playing through the old storyline for the Blood Elves, playing through the old zones, and spending time in Silvermoon, something that a lot of players are doing leading up to midnight. Right now, we don't got much else going on. I'll keep reporting as things come out, but for today, that is all in terms of news.